Okay, so today we're diving into something huge, English.
Really massive.
Well, but like not the boring stuff.
No grammar rules today.
Right, we're talking about how English can actually, change your life.
Exactly.
We've got personal stories, some really insightful articles.
Yeah, it's really interesting how they go beyond just calling English the global language.
Right.
They really get into the nitty-gritty of its impact on individuals.
Yeah, it's like a tool.
Yeah, a tool for connection, opportunity.
Self-discovery, even.
Absolutely.
One source even called it a passport to the world.
And you know what?
What?
After reading these stories, that feels so accurate.
I know, right? It's crazy.
It is.
We've got Tyler, who learned English, and then, get this, fell in love with his tutor.
Oh, wow.
I know, and,
What happened?
they're even thinking about moving to America together.
That's amazing. It's the perfect example of how learning a new language goes beyond textbooks, you know?
Totally.
It's about connecting with people, real human connection. And that can open up all these crazy opportunities.
Like moving across the world for love.
Exactly. And this particular source really emphasized the importance of immersing yourself in the language.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So Tyler didn't just learn grammar rules.
Right.
He actively engaged with the English language and American culture,
So cool.
which probably played a big role in his success.
Yeah, for sure. And it's not all love stories either.
Oh.
We also have Samuel, who actually landed his dream job because of his English skills.
No way. Where'd he end up?
Microsoft.
Wow. That's amazing.
I know, right?
Good for him.
And the source mentioned that he really focused on technical English.
Oh, so he tailored his learning.
Exactly. Like the specific vocabulary and phrases used in his field.
Smart.
It shows how, even if you don't master the entire language,
Yeah.
if you target what you learn,
It can make a huge difference.
huge, especially in your career.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So many of these sources mention how important English is in the job market,
Oh, yeah.
especially in things like technology,
Business.
diplomacy even.
It's really the language of, global communication.
It is, which makes it incredibly valuable.
Yeah.
Like this one article broke down the economic benefits,
Oh, interesting.
like how companies might pay more for multilingual employees.
Really?
Yeah, up to 20% more, they said.
Wow.
And then there's the whole world of freelance opportunities that open up if you speak English.
That's true.
It's a real incentive for a lot of people.
I'm ready to dust off Duolingo and get to work.
I know, right?
But then I read this one article, and it threw me for a loop.
Oh, what'd it say?
It argued that most people aren't learning English because they're, passionate about the language.
Really?
Yeah, it's more about the practical benefits.
That's interesting.
Right. Makes you think.
It does. It's a
Yeah.
good point, though. If you only see it as something you have to do,
Yeah,
it becomes a chore.
exactly.
But if you can tap into your curiosity,
Right.
use it as a way to connect with new cultures,
Yeah.
that's where the magic happens.
For sure.
It becomes enjoyable, even transformative, you know?
Absolutely.
Think about it less like a to-do list item and more like a key.
Ooh, I like that.
A key that unlocks a library of stories and ideas from all over the world.
It's like, instead of reading a travel blog.
You're actually going on the trip.
Yes.
That's what learning English can feel like.
That's cool.
And, one source even suggested that people actively seek out cultural experiences while they're learning.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, like listen to music,
Watch movies.
even join online communities.
There are tons of those.
Right. This one specifically mentioned real-life English.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of that one.
They offer support and resources just for English learners.
That's awesome. So it's about making it relevant to your life.
Exactly.
So, if you love music,
Yeah.
maybe you start trying to understand the lyrics of your favorite English song.
Oh, that's a great idea. Or even try translating them yourself.
Right.
You might even discover a hidden talent for it.
Okay, but what about actually going beyond the screen?
What do you mean?
This one article talked about how knowing English completely transforms travel.
Oh, I bet.
You're not stuck just reading guidebooks.
Right, yeah.
You can chat with locals.
Find the hidden gems.
Exactly. You get to actually experience the culture.
Not just observe it.
Yeah, imagine asking a local for the best pub in town in their language.
Oh, that's cool.
Right,
Yeah.
or getting recommendations that aren't in the guidebooks.
I bet you get some good stories that way.
Totally. Just adds a whole other dimension to traveling.
I bet.
It's like, when you go to a restaurant and just order number 4.
Yeah.
Versus having a real conversation with the waiter or the chef about what they recommend.
Oh, totally. It's a whole different experience.
It is. And this article talked about how accomplishing that being able to navigate a foreign country using your English skills.
Yeah,
It gives people this huge sense of accomplishment.
that makes sense.
It's empowering.
Sure.
And it builds confidence, not just in your English, but in other areas of your life too.
It's like that feeling of, wow, I did that.
Exactly.
And that can really motivate you to keep going.
Totally. So it's about so much more than just ordering food, you know?
It is.
It's like this whole personal growth journey.
Pushing yourself out of your comfort zone.
Exactly.
Realizing you're capable of more than you thought.
Yes. But let's be real, learning any language can be scary.
It can be intimidating.
Totally. And one of the articles acknowledged that.
Oh, good.
But it also talked about how rewarding the process itself is.
They called it self-development, right?
Exactly. And I think that's such a key point.
Yeah.
Because it's easy to get caught up in like, I need to be fluent.
Right.
But the journey of getting there is so valuable in itself.
It is. You're learning so much more than just vocabulary.
Totally.
You're learning how to think differently, how to solve problems, how to adapt.
Exactly.
Challenging.
For sure.
But those challenges actually build resilience,
Right.
which is a skill that goes way beyond language.
It's like a mental workout.
It is.
So, yeah, fluency's the goal.
Yeah.
But the journey there is what really shapes you.
And it gets even more interesting.
Oh.
Research suggests that learning a second language makes it easier to learn a third or even a fourth.
Right. Really?
Yeah. Like your brain develops new pathways or something.
Wow.
Yeah.
So English is like the gateway language.
It's possible. But it's not even just about the number of languages.
Right.
It's the cognitive benefits.
Oh, right.
There are actual studies linking bilingualism to better memory, better multitasking, even delaying age-related decline.
Okay, now we're talking.
Right.
So it's not just about understanding movies or impressing people on vacation.
No, it's way more than that.
It's like literally making your brain sharper.
Exactly.
Okay, that's it. I'm signing up for Italian tonight. But before I get ahead of myself, let's zoom out a bit.
Okay.
We've talked a lot about personal impact.
Right.
But what about English's influence on, like, the entire world?
That's where things get really interesting.
I bet.
This one article talked about the sheer scale of it.
Yeah.
Over 1.5 billion English speakers globally.
1.5 billion. That's like, I don't even know a joke for that. That's massive.
It's huge.
It's wild.
And it makes sense why it's become the default for so much.
Like what?
Well, think about international business.
Oh, right.
Multinational corporations need a common language for all their employees.
That's true.
English often fills that role.
Fascinating.
It's kind of wild how it all works.
It is, but it can't just be about, like, spreadsheets and boardrooms, right?
Definitely not.
There's got to be more to it.
Oh, there is.
Like what?
This one article went deep on English's role in science and technology.
Interesting.
Think about it. Most research papers are published in English.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
And international conferences, they often use English as the main language.
Makes sense.
So if you want to be at the forefront of your field,
You need English.
you need English. It's like the language of innovation.
Yeah.
It's a universal code for sharing knowledge.
Yeah. Wow. And then there's the internet.
Don't even get me started on the internet.
But so much of it is in English.
So much. It's amazing.
Which is great for accessibility.
Totally. Information can be shared globally, but
It does raise concerns about the digital divide, doesn't it?
it does.
Mm.
Not everyone has equal access to the internet, you know,
Right.
and not everyone has the resources to learn English.
That's true.
So it creates these disparities in who can participate online,
Yeah.
who can access opportunities, even just engage in global conversations.
Wow, I never thought of it that way.
It's like, imagine if all the most important information was in a language you didn't understand.
Oh, wow.
It would create barriers in every aspect of life.
It's true. So is English's dominance like a double-edged sword then?
It's complicated, isn't
It
it?
is, like, on one hand, it connects us.
Yeah.
But it could also be making existing inequalities even worse.
That's the thing about complex issues. There are no easy answers.
Right.
But these sources did offer some potential solutions.
Mhm. Oh, good. What did they say?
One emphasized the importance of promoting multilingualism.
Who, like, encouraging people to learn English,
Yeah.
but also valuing their own native languages.
Yes, it doesn't have to be one or the other.
Yeah.
One article even gave the example of a bilingual education system
Cool.
where kids learn English and their local language.
I love that.
Me too. It preserves cultural heritage
Yes.
and gives students a huge advantage in a globalized world.
Exactly. It's not about limiting perspectives, it's about broadening them.
Exactly.
But besides education, what else can be done?
Well, supporting local artists, media, businesses,
Oh, interesting.
especially the ones that use and promote local languages.
Ah, yeah.
Think about watching a movie with subtitles instead of dubbing,
Oh, I like that.
or seeking out music from different cultures.
So it's about being a conscious consumer,
In a way, yes,
making choices that value diversity.
absolutely. Every language is unique.
Yeah,
It represents a unique way of seeing the world, and that's something we should be celebrating.
for sure. Okay, so we've got this balancing act going on.
Yeah,
Global English, local languages.
right.
But what about access to English itself?
That's another layer of this whole thing.
This one article really got real about how proficiency in English often goes hand in hand with socioeconomic status.
It's true,
This
unfortunately,
is like those with more resources have better access to education,
which leads to better opportunities.
and it just creates this cycle.
It does.
So it's not just about learning the language.
No, it's about equity.
Exactly. Making sure everyone has a fair shot.
This article suggested increasing funding for English education in underprivileged communities.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, and making resources accessible to everyone, regardless of their background.
Love it.
They also talked about scholarships
Nice.
and programs specifically designed to help students from disadvantaged backgrounds access quality language learning.
It's about leveling the playing field,
Exactly.
making English a bridge for opportunity and not another obstacle.
Well said.
But how does this actually play out in the real world outside of the classroom?
Well, one article dove into the whole language learning industry.
Oh, right. Like ESL programs, online platforms, tutoring services.
All of that is massive.
It's huge. It's like a whole global economy built around learning English.
It really is.
Yeah.
And some people criticize it.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, they see it as like commodifying language.
Oh, I see.
But others argue that it just shows how much demand there is
Right.
and how much people value English skills.
That's true.
It creates jobs, fosters cultural exchange, and gives people opportunities.
For sure.
It's a complex issue with no easy answers.
Like everything else we've been talking about. But it's interesting, though, we
Yeah.
keep coming back to this tension
Between
between the need for English fluency
right?
and preserving all of the world's different languages and culture.
Finding that balance is key.
It is. So is there a way to have both?
That's the million-dollar question, right?
It really is.
Yeah.
So what's the answer?
Well, a lot of these sources pointed to multilingualism as a potential solution.
Okay, so instead of viewing English as a replacement for other languages,
Right.
it's a complement.
Exactly.
Eh.
Imagine a world where knowing multiple languages was the norm.
Oh, that would be amazing.
Right. We could learn from each other's cultures,
Yeah.
but still communicate easily across borders.
That's the dream.
It is a beautiful vision.
It is, and maybe one that we can actually achieve.
I hope so.
Me too. But for now, let's shift gears a bit
Okay.
and talk about how all of this, the learning, the culture, the global impact,
Yeah.
how it actually plays out in our individual lives.
Sounds good to me. So, yeah, picking up where we left off, it's super interesting to think about the more personal side of learning English.
Totally. And one article called it a passport to the world, which I love.
Good one.
But then they also talked about self-development.
Right.
And I'm curious, like, how do those two things connect?
It's all about pushing your boundaries,
Yeah.
embracing those challenges. And then you discover these strengths you didn't even know you had.
Oh, I like that.
Think about it, like the perseverance it takes to learn grammar rules,
Oh, tell me about it.
or the leap of faith when you first try to actually speak.
It's nerve-wracking.
But it builds resilience, adaptability.
Which are good things.
They are. And those skills, they help you way beyond language.
Totally. So it's like you're not just learning English, you're learning how to learn,
Exactly.
how to deal with new situations, whatever they might be.
Which, let's be real, is super important these days.
It really is. The world's changing so fast.
Exactly. So being able to, like, confidently navigate a new city, solve a problem at work,
Or even just connect with someone from a different culture.
all of that comes from those skills.
It's true. It makes you wonder, though, like those success stories we talked about earlier.
You mean Tyler and Samuel?
Yeah, them. Were they already, like, go-getters?
That's a good question.
Or did English kind of, like, unlock that part of them?
That's the amazing thing. It can really go both ways. Yeah. There's this one study,
Oh, tell me about it.
they found that people who are bilingual,
Yeah.
they're actually better at problem solving.
No way.
Yeah. And multitasking, even scoring higher on creativity tests.
Get out. So it literally changes your brain.
It's a good workout for your brain.
Sign me up for brain boot camp.
Right.
But it's true. It's like that saying, use it or lose it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Except in this case, you're not losing anything, you're gaining a whole new set of skills.
And new ways of looking at the world.
Exactly. And the cool thing is, it's never too late.
Really?
Oh yeah, this one source debunked that whole myth that language learning is just for kids.
Oh, good.
Yeah, all those cognitive benefits, they're true for adults too.
Awesome.
They even said it can help protect against age-related decline.
Okay, so now I really need to learn Italian.
Right. It's like an investment in your future self.
It totally is. And it's fascinating how these articles present it as both, like this personal journey, but also like a strategic move.
It's both.
It.
And you know what else?
What?
This one source made a really good point about the power of community in language learning.
Oh, like finding your people.
Exactly. Like online forums where you can share tips and tricks.
Or just complain about how hard grammar is.
Exactly. It makes you realize you're not alone in the struggle.
For sure.
And it can even lead to new friendships, collaborations.
Oh, that's cool. I never thought about that.
It's amazing how connecting over a shared goal can bring people together.
That's true. And it's not just online, right?
Definitely not. You've got language cafes, cultural exchange programs.
Yeah, those sound fun.
They are. Or even just like striking up a conversation with someone in your neighborhood who speaks English.
Just put yourself out there.
Exactly. Those little interactions are crucial.
They make it feel real, you know?
They do. One article compared it to practicing your golf swing at a driving range
Okay, I like where this is going.
versus actually getting out on the course and playing around.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because you can't just like read about it.
Exactly. You have to get out there and try it, make mistakes, learn from them.
Embrace the bumps in the road.
Because those bumps, those are the moments you learn and grow.
I love that. It's so true.
In this one article, it made a really interesting point about embracing imperfection.
Oh, tell me more.
It said that a lot of language learners get stuck because they're trying to be perfect,
Yeah, you don't want to mess up.
right? But they end up being too scared to even try.
That's me. I overthink everything.
I think a lot of people do. But the thing is, those mistakes, they're valuable.
They are.
They're how we learn. It's like in improv comedy.
Okay.
You take the mistake, acknowledge it, and
Yeah.
then build on it.
Yes, and
Right.
I never thought about it that way, but it makes so much sense.
Right. It's about shifting your perspective from I should be better
Yeah.
to I'm learning and growing.
I like that. Okay, so we've talked about community, embracing mistakes.
It's all part of the journey.
It is. But what about technology?
Oh, yeah. One article went deep on how technology could change the future of language learning.
Like what?
They talked about real-time translation tools,
Oh, cool.
AI-powered language tutors, even.
Whoa. That sounds like something out of Star Trek.
Right. Imagine you could travel anywhere, talk to anyone, no language barriers.
That would be amazing. But kind of scary too, right?
How so?
I don't know. It's like, if technology can do all that,
Yeah.
will people even want to learn languages anymore?
That's the big question, isn't it?
It is. It's like, what's more important, reaching the destination?
Or the journey of getting there.
Exactly.
And while I think technology can definitely help us learn
Totally.
and make communication easier,
Yeah.
there's something about the human element of language learning that's irreplaceable.
Oh, absolutely. Like that feeling of finally understanding a grammar rule.
Yes. Or having a real conversation in another language.
Or just like connecting with a culture on a deeper level.
It's about those moments of connection, empathy, bridging cultural divides.
Technology can't replace that.
It can't. It's like the difference between reading about a country in a book
Yeah.
and actually going there and experiencing it for yourself.
Wow, so true. So in a world where technology is only getting more advanced,
Right.
do you think the connections we make through language,
Yeah.
will those become even more important?
That's a really interesting question, and I think it speaks to how powerful language really is.
It is. But for now, I think we should shift gears a bit
Sounds good.
and talk about something a little more fun.
Like what?
How about the impact of English on global pop culture?
Okay, I'm in.
Okay, so we're talking English and pop culture.
Right. It's everywhere.
Everywhere. Music, movies, even just scrolling through social media.
It's like this whole other language of memes and trends.
Totally. And it's interesting how these sources pointed to the entertainment industry as a major driver.
Makes sense. Hollywood movies, American TV shows, they're everywhere.
They really are. I mean, I have friends in Japan
Yeah.
who quote Friends more than I do.
No way. That's amazing.
It's crazy, but it's also kind of cool, you know? Like, we're all part of this global conversation.
Even if it's through subtitles.
Exactly.
And that's actually a really important point.
What's that?
It's not just about consuming English, it's about playing with it.
Oh,
It's
interesting.
like, think about memes that go viral, right?
Okay,
A lot of them start in English,
right.
and then they get translated, reinterpreted. They spread like wildfire.
They really do. It's like that game.
Telephone.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. But instead of the message getting all jumbled up,
It evolves.
it totally does. Like, it takes on new meanings in different cultures.
And one article actually argued that this playful use of English,
Yeah.
even if it's not always grammatically correct,
Right, right.
it reinforces English's global status.
Really? I never thought about it that way.
It's not just about following the rules anymore.
Right.
It's about using the language creatively, connecting with people.
That's so cool. It makes you wonder about the future of English, though.
How so?
Well, we talked about AI translators.
Right.
But can they ever really keep up with the slang, the humor, all the little cultural nuances?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It really is.
And some of these sources had some interesting thoughts on that.
Oh, tell me more.
One article talked about the limitations of technology.
Okay.
Like, it can translate the literal meaning of words.
Yeah.
But the soul of the language, the humor, the poetry.
The feeling behind it.
Exactly. Those are a lot harder to capture.
It's like you can translate a recipe,
Yeah.
but it's not going to taste the same as your grandma's cooking, you know?
That's a perfect analogy. So yeah, technology can make communication easier,
For sure.
but that desire to really understand a culture, to connect on a human level.
That's what keeps us learning languages.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's ever going away.
It's about more than just understanding the words, isn't it?
It is.
It's about understanding the people.
I like that.
And that actually reminds me of something we talked about earlier.
What's that?
English as a tool for diplomacy.
Oh, right. That's where things get really interesting.
Right, like it's used in the UN, peace talks.
All sorts of high-stakes situations.
And this one article, it called English a Bridge.
A bridge.
Yeah, I thought that was really powerful.
I like that.
Because if you think about it,
Yeah.
like in a peace talk where everyone's really tense and emotions are running high,
Yeah.
having a shared language can be like a starting point.
It can help people communicate more clearly, build trust.
Exactly. Like, even if you don't agree on where you're going,
Right.
you at least need to agree on the language of the map.
That's a great way to put it. And it's not just about preventing conflict either.
Oh. What else?
This one article talked about how English is being used more and more in international aid efforts.
Oh, wow. Like
Yeah.
disaster relief.
Exactly. Situations where clear, quick communication is crucial.
That makes sense.
It allows people from different countries to work together effectively.
That's amazing. It makes you think maybe instead of asking why English,
Yeah.
we should be asking how can we use English to make the world a better place?
Now you're thinking. Because at the end of the day, language is a tool,
A powerful tool.
and it can be used for good or for bad.
It's true.
So it's our responsibility to use it wisely.
To build bridges instead of walls.
Exactly. To promote understanding, to fight for equality,
Because everyone deserves a voice.
and the opportunity to be heard no matter what language they speak.
That's a great note to end on.
I thought so too.
So there you have it. English is more than just a language. It's a global force, for better or for worse.
And it's up to all of us to shape how that force is used.
Exactly. Well, that wraps up our deep dive on English.
It's been quite a journey.
It really has. We covered everything from grammar rules to global politics to the future of language itself.
And we didn't even have to suffer through a vocabulary quiz.
Hey, now there's an idea for next time.
Please, no.
Just kidding. But seriously, we hope this deep dive has given you all a new appreciation for the power of language.
And maybe even inspired you to start learning a new one.
Because whether you're a seasoned polyglot or just starting out, the world needs more people who can bridge cultures and connect with others.
And on that note, we'll say goodbye for now. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the amazing world of the English language.
Until next time.